Texas.
Texas is Texas. Texas
Oh,
is Texas sing. I couldn't figure out how to say it.
you were
It's
on around where the tornadoes were yesterday, were you?
I guess not.
Apparently not.
um, it's been a little dreary. Like in the morning, it's been really cloudy. Like it's cloudy right now. It was that
Oh,
way
okay.
yesterday, but then the sun came out, and I'm in Georgetown, so I am about 30 minutes, miles, whatever, from Austin. So I'm not far from
Oh,
Austin.
okay.
And in Georgetown, they had their 25th, 26th annual Red Poppy Festival. And so I went to the
Oh,
Red Poppy Festival last night, and it was everything I needed it to be. They had this band called Dysfunction Junction or something. So I felt like it was a play on confunction, but they were singing all of the things. I was in heaven. I'm dancing and just having a ball,
okay.
seeing all the people. And my daughter's
Good.
friend was like, "Red Poppy, ain't that with drug?" I said, "Sir, it's about the flower."
Oh, yeah.
Just the flower. And they were everywhere. And it was so pretty. But it was nice. The weather was nice. And the sun, peeked out, and it was, a little breeze. So it was really, really nice. So I had a good time. I had a good time. Good time was had by all. So much
Good.
so that I'm up at this godforsaken hour because it's an hour ahead where I am now. So I've been up for 2 hours. Like I didn't want to miss it. And so I was like, just get up, just get up. I don't want to miss the time that I'm supposed to be where I'm supposed to be, and that is here with you all. How you doing? How was your week?
It was good.
Good.
I'll save it for this because I actually have a church announcement.
Oh, well, look at God. All right. All right, all right. Okay, well, let's see. Good morning, Carolyn. Good morning, Tanika. And she laughing. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Well, let's get this party started. All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Saturday morning tea, where we discuss health information, news, education, certification tips, and entrepreneurship. Most things, the revenue cycle at large. Now, as you come in, don't forget to hit the thumbs up or like button. I'm Clarice Warner. I'm the Grow with the Pearls, the founder and senior education director of the Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC, where coding education is key. And PRN is a healthcare compliance consultancy located in Cincinnati, Ohio, that specializes in revenue cycle and regulatory compliance in education. And let me ask, do you know what it takes to be a certified marketable medical coder? Do you? Well, before I introduce my co host, let me share with you information on a free, yes, free 99 email course on the 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder.
Are you interested in medical coding but not sure where to start and scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder.
The beat. Oh, if I had a beat drop, I would be in trouble because I'd probably be standing up breaking it down. Okay. If you are interested in getting more information about the 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder, well, check out the video description for the link. The information is there. So joining me today is my co-host, the illustrious Mr. Jesse, the registered trademark. Put some respect on his name, the coding nurse. Oh, I just love that. Sir, introduce yourself and tell the folks all about you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jesse. I live in Philadelphia. I have been in healthcare for a long, long time. In 2014, I made the transition to HIM from bedside nursing, And during the pandemic in 2020, I created a company called the Coding Nurse LLC, where I help nurses and other people in the healthcare industry with a clinical background transition into the wonderful world of HIM.
And how is that going for you?
It's coming along.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Come along, Sam. Come along. Okay, Tanika, you amped up from that red poppy and dancing. That may be the case. I don't know. Because they were everywhere. But they were so pretty. I had never paid attention to that flower before, but it was really pretty to see them all together. And I mean, they had them on everything. They even had red poppy drinks, which I don't think the red poppy was in them, but they just had the color red and different libations for all. I was trying to find some non-alcoholic red poppy drinks, but there was none to be found, at least in the areas that I was looking. So, but anyway, had a good time. Good time.
Poppies are very popular in the United Kingdom because they have a day just like similar to this.
Really?
Yeah, there's a whole thing where everybody wears poppies on their lapels.
Oh,
I don't know what it
cute,
symbolizes, but
cute. And I wanted to buy a shirt. You know, I normally, if there's either a shirt or a shot glass, normally it's a shot glass, but I haven't found a shot glass here. I'll probably get it at the airport, which will cost me probably a whole arm and leg. But but I found the shirt with the Red Poppy Festival information, and then it also just had Georgetown, Texas on the sleeve. So I was like, okay, that did it for me. And folks had their shirts on, and like I said, it was a family friendly activity. Family and dog. Is this the dog capital of the world? I swear I saw so many dogs, it was ridiculous. But they looking happy, the people looking happy, you know, everybody just happy. I was like, this is what happens when you need a day. This was Friday evening, I guess, after work. Everybody looked like they needed a day. They needed a moment. So if you are in Georgetown, Texas, go check out the Red Poppy Festival. It's still going on today and tomorrow, I believe. Okay. And they're not paying us. Let me just say that again. I always have to say, folks, they don't be paying us. We and the Patreon support this activity. We don't have no outside sponsors yet.
Especially now the Georgetown, Texas Board of Tourism.
You know, let me just say, look, I'm putting y'all on the map. All right, before we jump in, let me remind you that you can join in and add to the conversation. We want you to, so don't be shy. Your opinion matters and is welcomed here. So friends, please use the chat. You know how it goes down. It's not the DM, it's the chat. So it goes down in the chat. If you have a question, the only thing I ask is that you put a Q first, so we know that it is a question for us and we don't miss it. So for those who are just joining us or watching the replay, today we are talking AI and medical coding, hype versus reality. But first, let us get into a little, okay, my computer want to act a fool. Let us get into a little church announcements, shall we? Shall we? We shall. Oh, I don't have my fan. Look, I look right over here like I'm at home. Like, where's the fan? I didn't pack the fan. Oh, I feel some kind of way now. I got some paper. Let me make sure. Oh, you can't even see it. Hey, on it. All right. So this morning, church announcement. The first church announcement comes from our good friends at AHIMA. If you have been watching us, or if you are a member of AHIMA, and if you haven't been living under a rock, you should know that we have been discussing some of the changes that have been proposed were implemented and just told us that we was going to do what we had to do of late. That change involved the recertification, and that 40% of all CEUs must come from AHIMA. And that meant AHIMA proper. That means anything that AHIMA put out, you can use towards that 40% requirement. Folks went up in arms, and it was beautiful to see that, there were letters written, there were what's the things they signed off on different I can't think of the word. What's the name of the petitions? Yes, petitions done, conversations had. All of the things have gone on within the last several months. So much so that initially this was supposed to be in effect for 2024. And so much chatter and conversation and rumblings have occurred that it was decided to postpone it and push it off into 2025. Well, those of us at the component association level and our members still wasn't satisfied with that. And so we kept, because at first it was a moment like, well, they postponed this. Should we pull away? Should we? And it was like, no, keep going. And so I know at OHIMA, we coined the hashtag fight the 40. And so we've been fighting the 40 all this time. And one of the things that we were fighting against was in the announcement that AHIMA made, and specifically their, I don't know if he was VP director, there was an actual gentleman who represented the recertification department at AHIMA at our last AHIMA annual conference. And he specifically stated that part of the reason for this 40% shift in AHIMA, that the CEUs had to come from AHIMA, is because it has been their experience or understanding that oftentimes some of this other education that is being provided didn't meet the quality and rigor. Those were the two words that he specifically used of AHIMA. Now, before Dude even opened up his mouth to say quality and rigor, he should have looked at the AHIMA website and looked at the actual offerings that were being provided that came from 2005, came from 2013, came from, like, if you talk about quality and rigor, how about updated? How about relevant? How about, up to date and current? Didn't do that. So folks was like, whoa. Why is it that we have to use this stuff that is not timely, not up to date, and didn't encompass the membership as a whole? Because there are several, as we all know, several different certifications within AHIMA. And some of the education and some of the offerings didn't even touch different certifications that people have. Long story short, all of our work, all of our efforts, we've won, I'll say the war, I guess. The battle was getting it postponed. I think the war is now allowing the component association education, which oftentimes was the exact same education, at least live education, same presenters, same topic, same whatever as AHIMA. They just would come to the component association to present it. Now, the component associations are also included in the 40%. So, still have to have a 40% AHIMA and component association, and HIC Pro, HC Pro is also part of that as well. So you can get your CEUs from any of those three to satisfy your 40% requirement. And so that was just truly a remarkable win. They walked back. I attended the delegate meeting on Wednesday. And the board of AHIMA was there, and she gave some information and speaking on what was to come and the timeline. And they apologized for the way that this was disseminated, that they realized after, going back that, it didn't feel welcoming and friendly. It didn't feel like we were one. They apologized for that. It was interesting, and so much so that they outlined a whole communication as it relates to CHM, recertification, any information, because CHM is its own kind of independent body, so the board doesn't have oversight. So for CHM to just say, okay, this is what we want to do, technically it's what they can do, but without giving anybody a heads up, without, letting others kind of put their eyeballs on it to see whether or not this is something that is helpful for the members or something that, the members would embrace, is important. And so they outlined this whole new communication process that going forward they would use for any type of thing. So that was one of our church announcements. We got a win on that. Mr. Jesse, did you want to say anything to that?
You really summed everything up perfectly, because nobody knew where it was coming from, but wherever it was coming from, I'm glad they sent it back.
Like going back over there, going back. And so I knew Kevin Clower, who is the CEO, he has been very outspoken and vocal on this from the gate. Like, what is this? What? And he too, even though he wasn't here or wasn't in his position at the time that all of this was rolled out, felt that it just didn't feel right and needed to be addressed. And so I think he too had played a role in some of this. So I appreciate all the work that the board has done, because I appreciate them listening to their members. I appreciate that. This is actually, I think, the second instance that I've seen in a couple of months where they're listening to their members. And rightfully so. You don't want to lose them. You don't want them coins to go elsewhere. So you better listen to your members. Right? Right.
Exactly right.
Right. Okay. The other church announcement I had came from our on the street correspondent, the Crafty Coder, and it was from there's a consumer alert on remote patient monitoring. The OIG is alerting the public about a fraud scheme that involves monthly billing for remote patient monitoring. And so people are targeting, for whatever reason, they always go after our seniors, but they're targeting Medicare enrollees through calling them, texting them, and often popping up internet ads. Our seniors are on Facebook. They love it. So they're using internet ads as well. They're stealing their Medicare numbers, other personal information. Then the scammers will bill Medicare for these services that are unnecessary or never provided. Most of them includes medical devices such as scales, glucose monitors, blood pressure cuffs, cardiac rhythm devices, and other equipment to remotely monitor for anomalies in patients with chronic medical conditions. Of course, this new treatment is beneficial for those whose condition might deteriorate quickly, where monitoring can reduce complications, hospitalizations, or death. But they are taking, they're doing television advertising as well. It says phone solicitation, internet ads, or television advertisement. And then these contacts may originate from a DME or pharmacy. And equipment may or may not be sent, or is equipment that is not FDA approved. And then billing occurs for setup, patient teaching, and monthly monitoring of the data. but the monthly monitoring never happens, but the enrollee is billed monthly anyway. So one way to protect yourself is if you receive a call from someone offering you a free brace that will be billed to Medicare, hang up immediately. Review your explanation of benefits notices to see if there's anything that's on there that you did not order or you did not receive. If unordered medical equipment is delivered, don't accept it unless your personal healthcare provider ordered it. Refuse delivery or return it to sender. Be suspicious of anyone who offers you free medical equipment and then request your Medicare number. Your Medicare number should be like your Social Security number, which a long time ago, it used to be your Social Security number. You need to treat it the same. A trusted healthcare provider should approve any requests for equipment to address your medical needs. And again, Medicare enrollees should be cautious of unsolicited requests for Medicare numbers. If anyone other than your provider's office requests Medicare information, do not provide it. Those of you who have seniors in your lives, please make sure that they understand this information. Tell them to guard that number just like they would their Social Security number, and let somebody know if someone is calling them or harassing them to receive that number. So that was more of a public service announcement as well as a church announcement. Mr. Jesse, do you have anything on that? And if not, you can go ahead with your church announcement.
No, I think it's actually good because I've always just thought it was terrible how these companies prey on seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with technology, because my best friend's aunt, me and my best friend, we've been best friends for over 40 years now.
I love that.
Her aunt really watched us grow up. And now she's like, I think 85, 86. So she's in seminary.
Okay.
And
you better do it.
I tell you, I type up her papers. So because it just turns her every way but lose. So she forwards me the email. Then she writes out her paper, screenshots and sends it to me. I type it and submit it.
I love that though. See, lifelong learning, you're never too old to start anything, whatever your that gift or that dream that he has placed in your heart. I don't wish for it, work for it at any age. I love it.
One night I was working up to the deadline.
Sir, I'm gonna need you to get your stuff together. You're a student.
But I'm just, thank God I'm a fast typer. I always have been, but
one of your many skills.
So my church announcement has to do with the HEMA as well.
Okay.
Yesterday, I got an invitation to be part of their standard setting committee for the CCS exam.
Okay.
But I had to decline because, as we all know, you got to read the fine print. I did it last year with the CDIP, so I'm like, wow, so AHEM is just revamping all of their exams. So the reason why I had to decline is because their NDA is serious. Like, I would not be able to teach coding for a year. I'm like, no.
For who?
A year.
Here we go. Y'all gonna compensate me for the loss of for a volunteer? Okay.
Look, a volunteer and 11 CEUs.
I was about to cuss. During church announcements, the ushers would be escorting me out right now. Wow. Well, I congratulations on being nominated and selected as the gift that you are to our organization. Unfortunately, and did you write back and be like, "Did y'all read this? Did somebody read this?" Maybe you would have more volunteers or more people who would be interested if you didn't have some of these stipulations or some of these layers. Gatekeeping on the paper. What the hell?
Well, I think that they honestly, like, I can't even fault them because I can. They do it for exam integrity, because if you have the actual exam, which you will, that's what you do. You evaluate the actual exam. So
you could be biased,
right?
So I get it. I do understand.
It's just.
But you need to vet your people and don't have unscrupulous people who. Well, that's a whole other conversation.
Long story short, you ain't gonna mess with my paper.
That's right.
That's what I'm not going to do. So I was like, thanks, but no thanks.
Oh Lord. Well, again, congratulations on the selection, and congratulations on holding on to your coins. How about that?
Exactly. I got
you. All right. So let's get into the tea spilling today. We got a lot of folks going on here. Let's see. There was a question. Oh, good morning. Good morning, Crafty Coder. Good morning. Thank you for your PSA. Good morning, Lee Love. And Lee Love had a question.
I already answered it.
Okay. Can I code from home after I finish my course from Penn Foster? Is there still a market for nurses who code? Don't come on here with that nursing stuff. Y'all gonna start my day all the way left. Okay. Ooh, child. Okay. Yes, I'm glad they changed from social security number. Let's see. Congratulations, Jesse. I guess I understand, but not teach for a year. That's a bit much. Yeah. Like a whole year? Really? I don't know. I'm thinking, is there some other type of way that they could do that? Pull that off? I don't know. But anyway, so today we want to get into this article that I got from, I don't know, Becker's IT just used to be in my inbox. I think I get a whole bunch of Becker stuff. I think I get something with the hospital CEOs. I get something with revenue cycle. They got a whole bunch of stuff in one. I need to research Becker's.
Exactly. Like they have some. They either have a lot of alerts set up, or they got some really good investigative people working for them, because they
out here in these streets. Do you hear me? On all ends.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. So this one came from the Becker's IT. It's from Naomi Diaz, and it was large language models are poor medical coders. And it was a study. And this study was let's say that was. So I looked at her article was relatively short. She just gave some information, but then I went further. I kept digging, got to the study, and I needed to see the results and the stuff in the study. You know, I had to put on the whole research and analysis piece of my training to see, well, what did they talk about? What did they ask? What did they do? Now, part of this study I didn't understand, and maybe it was just I don't understand why they was looking up ICD-9 codes. That part I'm still confused about. Why?
Darn near almost 10 years later.
Like, why? I don't understand that part. They did look up ICD-10, and they included CPT codes. And I think this is the first time I've actually seen, well, outside of E&M, because I think some folks be trying to do things with E&M. It was the first time, again, outside of E&M, that I've seen like CPT codes in the mix. But basically, they found they gathered more than 2,700 distinct diagnoses and procedure codes from a year of routine care at Mount Sinai Health System. And then they then utilize descriptions for each code to trigger models from OpenAI, Google, and Meta to produce the most precise medical codes. The codes generated were then compared with the original ones, and any patterns and errors were examined. All of the large language models analyzed, which was again GPT-4, GPT 3.5, Gemini Pro, and Llama 2-70B, demonstrated accuracy below 50% in replicating the original medical codes. This is what the researchers found. It said GPT-4 showed the best performance among the models, even though they all had below 50% accuracy. And it achieved the highest match rates for ICD-9. It had 45.9%. ICD-10 had 33.9%. And CPT codes had 49.8%. So Mount Sinai released a press release of this particular study that says, despite AI advancements, human oversight remains essential. And it reveals the limitations in medical coding. And let me just say right here, but let me put a pin right here, that this is what we have today. So this study and probably others like it now force the hands of those who are in IT to find better ways to expand the machine to do some of the coding. So again, where we are today and what we have today. And so having the knowledge, and I don't think there has been a study similar to this. I think most people just talk about AI is doing the thing and it's coding for us and it's the greatest since sliced bread and all of the things. But this one just really says, wait a minute. And Mr. Jesse, you hit it on the head. I always know to come back to our Saturday morning tea episodes because you always say they ain't ready. They're not ready at all. They're not ready for this. And you call it out first. So it says the state-of-the-art artificial intelligence systems known as large language models are poor medical coders. According to researchers at the ICANN, I hope I'm right, School of Medicine in Mount Sinai. Going on to say the same thing that she said in her article. There was something that I wanted to say. It says their findings underscore the critical need for rigorous evaluation and refinement before deploying AI technologies in sensitive operational areas like medical coding, says the study corresponding author. Ali Soroush is an MD, MS assistant professor of data-driven and digital medicine and medicine. He does gastroenterology at Mount Sinai. It says, while AI holds great potential, it must be approached with caution and ongoing development to ensure its reliability and efficacy in health care. It says one of the potential applications for these models in healthcare, the healthcare industry, says the investigators, is automating the assignment of medical codes for reimbursement and research purposes based on clinical text. It says previous studies indicate that newer large language models struggle with numerical tasks. However, the extent of their accuracy in assigning medical codes from clinical text had not been thoroughly investigated across different models. So their aim was to assess whether these models could effectively perform the fundamental task of matching a medical code to its corresponding official text descriptions. And it says the whole point of this was hopefully, again, going to automation for medical code extraction, potentially enhancing billing accuracy and reducing administrative costs in healthcare. But this study says they're not ready, not at all. It says the researchers caution that the study's artificial task may not fully represent real world scenarios where LLM performance could be worse. Those folks who are out there, and I've heard some folks say, "Oh, we're on the bandwagon, and we're trying to use these models to assist in automated coding." Yeah, I might want to have a seat. Let me take some tea. And Mr. Jesse, please jump in anytime.
Well, I don't know what well, I do know it all, because all of this is centered around money, period. They are trying their darndest to save on staff, and they're trying to quote unquote increase productivity, but you cannot, because the thing that's keeping them from being from it being more effective is something called coding guidelines. And they have to be able to incorporate that, because right now, basically, for real, all large language models is a big search engine.
Yes, and they didn't. This study did not have that. They didn't incorporate that.
Right, because they don't know how to yet. But once they do, it will be a game changer, because right now it can only do it's almost like you can only do like a one level search, but it can't go above that. It can't, okay, well, how does this relate to that? Or you have to put this with that. They can't do it right, right now. And that's what's going to keep us employed. Because what they will end up doing is they're going to end up starting to change the language, because what they do in data is whenever you have a document, or wherever you have any kind of information that you need to analyze, you have to do what you call clean the data, and you have to do another process to clean it. So that's what they're going to start. My next prediction is you're going to start hearing cleaning the data when it
you
comes.
Heard
to
this first.
I'm telling you. Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to need somebody to go and look through to make sure that it is what it's supposed to be before you can submit it. That's all.
So they came up in the study. They did a total of 7,697 ICD-10 codes, 15,950 ICD-9, or I'm sorry, the first one was ICD-9 codes, 15,950 ICD-10 codes. See, I can't even say ICD-9 because nobody used that. Anyway, and 3,673 CPT codes were extracted. And basically their conclusion was all LLMs performed poorly on medical coding querying, often generating codes conveying imprecise or fabricated information. LLMs are not appropriate for use on medical coding tasks without additional research. The one thing it said, it says large language models are deep learning models trained on extensive textual data capable of generating text output. They have shown remarkable text processing and reasoning capabilities, suggesting that they could automate key administrative tasks. However, even the best LLMs extract fewer correct ICD-10 CM codes and generate more incorrect codes from clinical text than smaller, fine-tuned language models. And so I wanted to go even deeper, and there was, like I said, I went directly to the source. I went to the study, and they had an appendix on here, because I was like, well, what did they say? And so their prompt was, it says, using 100 randomly selected codes from each code system, we applied prompt writing best practice in an iterative manner to develop a standardized prompt template. We continue to iterate, that word, in a qualitative manner until we observe that the output was formatted correctly without any catastrophic errors. Their final template was, what is the most correct, and then you put the code system, billing code for this description, and then they put what the script description was. Only generate a single valid code description billing code. Do not explain. Always respond in the following format. And that was the code system, and sample code. And so they found a lot of codes. I don't even want to look at ICD. Well, there was something else I saw. That the problem with alphanumeric, something about the alphanumeric codes may present an additional problem. Wait a minute, let me go to the end where they did some more discussion.
But also, while you're looking for that, they had more success with ICD-9 because ICD-9 was a whole lot less specific.
Correct. And it didn't have those alphanumeric digits, at the time. So even if, and just going by how these things were made, and I'm sure, let me just say this, I don't know if they use coders in this study, or what have you. I think probably with the systems that they're generating now to do some of these automatic coding, I think, or automated coding, should have coders or health information professionals who have knowledge of coding, and the IT world, infuse some of the other things, because it's to your point, it's layers to this. Yeah, you put that first prompt in, but there's no connection to the guidelines. There's no connection to understanding and making sure that works. It says we can also focus our study and explain why. They suspect that because general purpose LLMs struggle with tasks requiring character level comprehension, such as arithmetic or word spelling, they would similarly struggle with the fundamental task of matching alphanumeric medical codes to their official descriptions. This task isolates the model's understanding of the medical codes from higher level language tasks like understanding clinical concepts. I'm about to hurt a dog. Ryder, get away from my door. Okay. I can hear the dog in the background. Let's see. Our study reaffirms. Yeah, so nothing in here. Oh, but they did give kind of their opinion. Is although the models can approximate the meaning of many codes, they also display an unacceptable lack of precision and a high propensity for falsifying codes. This has significant implications for billing, clinical decision making, quality improvement, research, and health policy. And whereas we found that current base LLM struggle with simple code queries, there is an opportunity to mitigate this with fine-tuning, tool use, or retrieval augmented generation. Finally, we provide a systematic and automated evaluation approach for medical code generation that can spur the development of medical code extraction tools. So it's really good information here.
And also, like they're doomed to failure because just based off of what you were reading earlier, one of the prompts where you said a single code, based on coding guidelines, sometimes you have to
You don't have a single.
Exactly. So they have to incorporate the guidelines if it's ever going to work.
She said, "Come through, GPT." That's my bestie. Let's see. Will AI replace coders, you think, in the near future? Mr. Jesse already mentioned that in the near future. No, I don't agree either. Or I agree. I don't think that in the near future it's here. This study for me solidifies that. Even though I think I would love to see a study that involved coders or involved someone in the health information field, coupled with AI that could potentially prompt a different way that and would think like a coder would think, if you will. But I think the results would be the same because I've heard from in various Facebook groups from folks who have been involved with, or their organizations are tinkering with or playing with some of these models, that it's absolutely horrible. Like, they're pulling stuff that shouldn't be coded. They're pulling information that is not relevant to a patient. They're pulling, like, they might say so and so, like a aunt, a uncle, a father, somebody had cancer. They're now assigning the cancer because they see that diagnosis in that chart to that person. I mean, it's a lot of, to your point, cleanup data that needs to occur before any of this pops off.
Because, like, for instance, like where I work, we have an assigned work queue, and a lot of times, well, and not a lot of times, all the time, there is an assigned DRG, but it's all based off of AI. So when you open it up, you might think that it's 871, which is sepsis with the CC or something like that. But when you read it, the person, it might say previous admission for sepsis. So that totally negates that. So there goes your diagnosis. So it's a whole different DRG. They might end up in a 291, which is heart failure, because they're there for shortness of breath and edema. But because they mentioned sepsis, it gets picked up as a code, but it's not.
Wow. And the links to these articles are in the description if you want to do your own kind of review. And in the press release from Mount Sinai, towards the bottom, there's a link to the actual study that you can get. And then, we can talk on the meeting after the meeting, because they showed something and I was like, I don't even know what this is. They had something about codes. And again, back to my question, if I generate a code, where do I put it? So I'm gonna ask you that question in the meeting after the meeting. Because I was like, what? I don't even know what this is. And I know Keeper and Nora of most of all of the things. You can
Lord,
direct me in the right direction. Crafty Coder says, increase productivity with AI by setting the edits in the EHR to stop for things that would make a claim deny. I have a presentation on Monday about this and using AI edits for unlisted procedures. Interesting. I went to the AMA, I think because I there was some kind of CPT thing that I joined with the AMA. And so they had a session this week on, and I mentioned it with my interview with the nurse practitioner, empowering digitally enabled care with CPT. It was so interesting. It was like the struggle. They had two different physicians from different backgrounds just discussing like the challenges that they are seeing with CPT, using evaluation and management, just coding pretty much in general, because again, all of this is new. So they have to go through the entire process of trying to get a code assigned for the services that they're actually providing. But above and beyond that, especially in the virtual space, he was like, we don't have like an office. We're doing, we're caring for these patients virtually wherever. And some of these codes require, like what, maybe there needs to be a new place of service thing going on, or develop maybe. And then he also talked about, and this is where I mentioned it with the nurse practitioner, collaborative agreements, because most of those are state operated. Well, everybody in a different state, your patient in one state, you in one state, and your nurse practitioner in another state. What does that look like? How does that work? And just understanding current regulations, and just being able to be reimbursed for some. It was just a real interesting discussion, and hearing it from the physician's point of view. But I digress. I'm sorry. She mentioned the AI thing. So AI won't replace coders, but it will give us a new position, though. Edit scrubber. I think it goes into, I think it pushes us into an auditing, or validation, if not auditing, validation role for some of these things.
Because it's clearly here to stay. They're not going to let it go.
Oh, no. They don't put too much money. Y'all, I told y'all, we talked about this a long time ago. Our two major coding organizations have put funds and invested in these AI technologies. It ain't going nowhere. If y'all got some coins, I would advise y'all to do the same. That was a tea tip for today. Get in on it. Why not?
Exactly.
So yeah. So I liked the article. I liked the information. She said they put too much money. I done invested too much for it to go somewhere. Exactly. I like that folks took notice. Prayerfully, this is something that other health care organizations took to heart. And even we know it's not going anywhere, but hopefully this article helps to refine it and make sure, one, they have the appropriate people at the table to assist in development early on, and two, assist with the refinement. Just to your point, there's so many pieces in how to get to a code accurately. It's not just a one-off, oh, this is this, boom, here's a code. And I think, unfortunately, folks that are not part of the profession think that way. And it's bigger than that. Again, if it was that easy, anybody could do it. Everybody can't do this.
I mean, well, contrary to popular belief, because everybody thinks you just flip a book to a code and then wham, that's it.
I got it. Or somebody told me what these codes were and I wrote it on my little cheat sheet and here it is and I can put it down every day.
Exactly. No kind of context, no, does it apply to this situation?
And that these patients are unique and individual. And just because they have this diagnosis that is similar to maybe all of the patients that you treat, there are different nuances. There may be other comorbidities that are going on with these patients, other diagnoses, medications that they may be taking that may impact the way the disease presents to them, which all of that information helps in deciding and determining exactly what that code set should be, because it should be all documented by the provider. So it may change what you think would be a standard ordinary code based on a diagnosis. You got to just take the whole picture into account. Bless their hearts.
Because
I think it ain't, this can't all be so simple. I mean, it could be if you understood what it is, but the approach.
If you think that this is crazy, you should see what AI recommends as query suggestions, because that's the next thing. Like in inpatient, they're working on AI generating queries. That's going to be a disaster.
Oh Lord.
Because it will, even now, like, because I pay it no mind because somebody has a fracture. They'll say possible query opportunity, pathological fracture, but the person there's no osteoporosis anywhere. There's no cancer anywhere. What are you talking about?
And you think these providers have query fatigue right now? You think they up in arms and y'all getting on their nerves with the queries that y'all provide now? Imagine the volume of queries that come from AI. Let's talk about that.
Speaking of that, but let me tell you, baby, this provider let me have it Monday.
Uh-oh.
Because the patient was almost a 90-year-old patient, came from a nursing home, had a UTI.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that they had a Foley. I assumed, because I didn't even check. I just assumed that the Foley was changed in the emergency room, not initially inserted in the emergency room. But come to find out it was initially inserted. When actually he was highly offended. I mean, highly told me I need to think and use my brain. And I'm putting an undue burden on him. On his shoulders. So I'm like, you know what? He's stressed. He is totally caught up because I'm like, it cannot be that serious. All you do is just say no. But
you're doing too much. You know how much work I got to do? Do you know what kind of production I got to provide in order to get my coins now? Sir, stop. Leave me alone. Let me be.
But he ran through. And the thing is, I cannot tell you, I have been sending this man queries for a year and a half. And he has never, he's always really quick about it. And I'm like, you know,
something going on. He may need to a check. Somebody may need to do a mental health check on him.
You know what? I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna piss him off because what I really started to do because I did respond. And trust me, you ain't gonna be getting crazy on me. I did respond, but what I really started to do at the bottom, I started to put the EAP number.
The shade.
Baby, he would have come to Philly and fought me.
He'd been knocking on your door like, sir, I'm gonna need you to come on outside. Yeah. Come on. Let's have a talk. Oh my God. That is funny. Oh.
Yeah, I could just tell it. Like that response was like, sir, are you serious?
We're like, do you need a hug?
Exactly.
Do you need a hug? I love a good old provider layout.
And I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it a buck. This is 50-plus-year-old Jesse, because had he caught me back in my day, I would be unemployed today.
Maturity is such a beautiful thing, ain't it?
Came out of nowhere.
Because you be reading it like,
I can't tell you how many jobs I done lost behind my mouth.
That I believe. I believe. Wait, that reminds me of a That reminds me of my was it Instagram or TikTok? It might have been TikTok or something. And it was this dude, he came in, you know, he was starting his morning, whatever. And the first email was like, per our previous email or something.
That's like,
I'm like, what? You know, he started straight like this is fighting words. Like, yes, yeah. It was hilarious. I was like, it was like, per your email, you know, after he went through all of that, like, this one really, they came for me. They really came for me, whatever. He was like, if you would have put the appropriate whatever, and you didn't even spell my name correct. And I mean, he was just going off. I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, folks get that keyboard courage, baby. Mm-hmm. It'd be something else. But that was a cry for help. He needed some help. He needed some help.
Yeah. And the thing is, and when I tell you, like and the thing, they do forget stuff.
Minute. Right. Today's Justy is not yesterday's. Amen.
And I really gathered him professionally. I let him know that nobody walks on water. We all make mistakes.
That's right. Oh my God. Ooh, that's right. He said I gathered him professionally. All right. What'd she say? Perma is my trigger too because I'm on after that. Yes. Like, huh? What? Is this what we doing? Okay. All right. Don't come for me if I ain't come for you. You don't know what you might get. Whew. But as you said, thank God for maturity. Thank God for it. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Well, again, I hope this information was something for you to chew on as we think through medical coding, as we think about not only those of us who are seasoned and been in this profession for a while, but new people. We just had a person who's going through training, new people and their interests. I mean, imagine you decided, oh my God, I found the perfect career. I found what it is I want to do. And now you get out of this rah-rah that it may go away or it may be taken over by AI. And depending on where they're getting their information, they may think that is happening tomorrow. But, rest assured, it's not. And as I've stated, a good instructor or professor or teacher will help you navigate what these waters are because they should be involved and in tune with what's happening out here in these streets and should be able to guide you appropriately. So,
But that's the key word, should.
you're right. You're right. You are absolutely correct. All right, y'all. Well, this was good. This was good.
Yep.
Good, good, good. So again, y'all, thank you so much for joining the Saturday morning tea or checking out the replay. Was the tea spilled today? Let me know. Put your teacups up. Put your teacups up. Ow, ow. Put your teacups up. See, I have to make my own beat drop. If this information was valuable for you, help us share this message with others by sharing the video and subscribing to the channel. Be sure to follow for more information on all things health information, compliance, revenue cycle, and medical coding. And as you leave, don't forget to hit the thumbs up or like button. And you can also check out the Coding Nurse channel on YouTube. And as we go into our meeting after the meeting, let me just invite you to check out what we have going on as our PRN Patreons, the tea sippers, as we are affectionately called, where we provide additional insider tips on topics that we discussed today, but also other topics that may come up. There's expert Q&A sessions. There's a resource library with exclusive content and tangible items that you can walk away with to assist you in some of your career, entrepreneurship endeavors. Even if you're a student and learning and you have specific questions about things, there are things there for you as well. As always, with the opportunity to network with like-minded people, it's the curating of the minds that is, I think, the best part. So come on over and check out our Patreon. You can find us at patreon.com/Clarice Warner, the girl with the pearls, and check it out. You can also find the link in the description as well. Mr. Jesse, did you have any final words before we get over to, and our meeting after the meeting is at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So right after the Saturday morning tea. But Mr. Jesse, did you have anything?
Now, as always, it was another enjoyable, informative, and engaging Saturday morning. This is really where people need to come for because we have our fingers on the pulse of the HIM community.
Mm-hmm.
It really does go down. Like, we really have some very timely and informative discussions. We really do. And that's
right. I agree. And we have so many professionals here from different perspectives. So we get different points of view as it relates to our profession. So while, we may come one way as a medical coder, we have people who are part of billing, we have people who are part of education, we have people who are part of compliance. They can give additional perspectives on where we are and what we do. So yeah, I love it. I love the curation of the minds. It's a beautiful thing.
And one more thing, and here on the Saturday Morning Tea is the best collaboration between nursing, coding, and billing.
It's not adversarial. Not yet. No, I'm kidding.
At all.
No. Oh, good morning, Tamara. Good morning. Don't worry about it. I'll be watching the replay. Hey, don't worry about it. The replay is always good. Replay is always good. All right, y'all. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a great session. And remember, be safe, be kind, and don't wish for it, work for it. Until next time, take care. Have a great weekend, and talk to you soon.